Another edition of Sign or Decline. Cody Stute, straight from the NFL Combine. Landry Locker, straight from a hell of a weekend at Houston Rodeo. Sign or Decline today. We're going to go focus on that running back position. We've talked about some of the guys at the top, but DAndre Swift. Should the Texans look into signing DAndre Swift and perhaps bringing back Devin Singletary and having kind of a little bit of a committee thing going?
This was a name that when free agency started, I didn't even really consider. And as you start to dig in a little bit more to what DAndre Swift was able to do with Philly last year and what he's potentially able to do for this Texans team, I got a little bit more excited about DAndre Swift. Had over 1,000 yards rushing last year, really good yards per carry. And he's
4.6 from 5.5, never averaged less than 4.1.
Yeah, and he's actually one of the best receiving backs in all of football. Over the past 4 years, only Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, and Austin Eckler have more receiving yards at the running back position than he does. So you start to think about, okay, like this isn't just a piece. Like this is a pretty interesting chess piece that Bobby Slowick and company could play around with. It just what exactly does he want, and does he want to fit into a committee, and can you use him the right way in a committee? But this is a really useful football player, even though he's not maybe the dynamic freak that many thought he was going to be when he got to the NFL.
I would say, like last year when he got traded during the draft, you kind of raised the eyebrows and you're like, man, they're just basically giving him away, and they're giving him to the Eagles. They being the Lions. They'd obviously drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, so you could kind of see some of the writing on the wall. But I think the way in which he reacted to that, because a lot of times that happens and you're initially surprised, but then you realize, oh, this is why they wanted to move on from this guy. This was why. I mean, he had the best year of his career, arguably in Philadelphia. I mean, as far from a yardage standpoint, not even close. 4.6, a little bit down from 5.5. The receptions, still 39, not as much, but there's a lot of weapons, obviously, in Philly that could take that away from him. I'm okay with the possibility of DAndre Swift, but I would still rather look at the top of the running back market and the guys that we've been talking about, the Barkleys, the Jacobs, Aaron Jones maybe gets on the market now. Like that's where I would be looking, but I'm with you. It would have been something that I would have just dismissed early on, but I'm a little bit more open to the possibility now.
We're both having this conversation in a positive light for DAndre Swift, with the understanding that he's a part of a running back room that has another running back, correct? Because this is not, I want DAndre Swift to be the only running back and give him all the carries. This is very much, if he signed with the Texans, I hope he's got a running mate, specifically probably Devin Singletary, as the guy with him. Like, I don't know that either of us are making the case for him to sort of be bell cow, RB1, give him the ball 400 times over the course of the season.
Yeah, and I also think it's going to be interesting to see how the market kind of shapes up for a guy like DAndre Swift, because I don't know where he does or doesn't fit in this market. Like, is Jacobs signed first and kind of set the market, and that's where the running backs aim? Does Barkley do that? Like, it'll kind of be interesting. I don't know how soon we're going to hear about running back signing because it is such a unique situation, and the state of the position is such to where, it seems like teams are they're looking more to talk themselves out of signing running backs than vice versa. The one thing that all these guys have going for them, and I'm not saying that, on day 2, day 3, someone can't find something at the position, but it is a very, 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 very thin running back draft. So this seems like the place where you invest the most assets in the position.
Yeah, this is one of the deepest free agent groups of anybody or of any position. And then combine that with, like you mentioned, day 2 is the first day you're going to see a running back, and it's probably not till the end of the second round. And even then, there's some guys that, they're impressive players. Do you trust them to come in, carry the load right away, figure out the NFL when you have a number of guys that could be veteran players that, yes, they're more costly than a rookie, sure. And Swift, maybe he checks in at $5 million a year, maybe he checks in at $6-7 million a year. Like, yes, they're more costly than a rookie, but there's a trust level that coaches have with veterans that is just way higher than rookies, even if the rookie is dynamic. And I know D'Amico Ryan said last week, we don't care if you're an 8-year veteran or rookie, we'll put you on the field and let you play. there is just that learning curve that goes away when you sign a veteran versus trusting the job to a rookie. And to have two veterans, two guys that you could lean on with this offense, and Swift being one of them, you could do a whole lot worse as he being the two in a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, see, I would bring back Singletary in any scenario because I think the market's going to speak to him because of how deep it is. So I don't think it would have to be just Swift that would have Singletary back. I think Singletary's back no matter what. The case against is really pretty simple. I think there's potentially way better options.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the position is such to where you're like investing a crap ton, even in like the top names, especially relative to the impact that they can make. But that would be my case, is that there's just a lot of other guys. I will say this, though, and we talked about this yesterday in our running back gym video, which, by the way, just the latest edition of Sign or Decline. We talked about it yesterday. But I do wonder, like, because a lot of times when we talk about running backs, we talk about fit. Like, how does this guy fit? Zone blocking, all that type of stuff. And sometimes he just hasn't done it, but it doesn't mean that he's not a good fit. So I wonder, like, as they look close at this position, like, is there a scenario where maybe Bobby Slowick likes Austin Eckler more than we do? Maybe he sees something in Tony Pollard. Maybe he sees something in Swift, because the way that Bobby Slowick watches tape is a lot different than even any of the guys on ESPN or whatever that watch tape, and it's his system and he knows how it fits. So I do wonder, like, with all this talk about the big names and stuff, if Bobby Slowick and D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio are perhaps falling in love with someone that we would probably listen to, a big film guru say that is not a fit, but maybe they think that it could be a fit. And that's dangerous. Sometimes that's dangerous, but I got to think they're putting in as much effort into this position because they need to run the ball better. They're putting as much into this position as anything.
Square peg, round hole. Sometimes you can shave that square peg to make it fit the round hole, but I don't know if that's the case with DAndre Swift. Another element of against him is, hey, he just spent, I don't want to say as the feature back, but kind of the primary back. Does he want to sign up, even if the money's right, for a two-back system? Is there some team out there that would make him sort of the feature back for 3/4 of the time rather than him splitting time? And is he, I mean, look, he spent time in a timeshare for most of his career at this point, it feels like. So we know he can handle it, but maybe with a taste of a little bit more, he wants an opportunity. It's a little bit more. So maybe he's not, even if the money's right, hey, the money's the same for the Texans and Team B, but Team B wants you to carry the ball 20% more of the time. Okay, well, I'll go to Team B. They're going to give me the rock more. So, like, learning about him that way would be interesting. And that's one of the issues with free agency is you don't really get to talk to these guys before contracts start hitting the table.
Oh, you don't?
Well,
okay. You are naive, sir. Okay. All right.
It's not to the same level that you get to talk to a rookie and you learn about a rookie, because you get to spend 3 months learning about a rookie.
Mm-hmm. Whatever makes you feel better, Cody.
I mean, look, last week Caserio said you don't really get to talk to the guys when it comes to free agency.
And he laughed when he said it.
Well, it's not like they get to sit down with every single free agent. I'm not saying that they don't talk to them, obviously. That was one of the dumbest things Bill O'Brien ever said was, we never spoke to Brock Osweiler before we signed him. Yeah, right, buddy. We don't believe you for a second. But you just don't get as much time to learn about these guys as you do other situations. That's what I was getting at. I wouldn't say they're not going to talk to him.
So my verdict would be with DAndre Swift. No, but I'm intrigued to know, like, if they're in love with any of these guys. But my verdict would be no, but I'm much more intrigued than I was before.
I am currently sideways with caveats of him being with Devin Singletary and it being because the market fell out on the top guys and they didn't get some of the top guys. I'm still very much more intrigued by Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, and even, maybe even a Derrick Henry situation with Devin Singletary. I'm more intrigued by so many other situations, but I'll go sideways on this one.
All right, there you go. Should the Texans sign DAndre Swift? What running back do you like? Let me know. Subscribe, like, right along. Best Texans coverage in the country, Houston football, and the Cody Stoots channel on YouTube, in the locker room, and in the Loop Sports Radio 610, 10 to 2 Central. I'm sure we will get into this. Appreciate you for coming through. It's getting fun. The offseason is approaching. These free agency, what if, sign or declines? We're going to be reacting to signings sooner rather than later. What a time to be alive. What a time to enjoy football, especially with this offseason with the Texans. Appreciate you for coming through.